Hey there, viewers! Transformers fan or Charlie Young back again with another Transformers review. And today's review is going to be on United Perceptor. Yep, United. Not Legacy United, just United. Because this is the Japanese release of Reveal the Shield Perceptor. Yeah, United is pretty much the Japanese release of like Reveal the Shield and 2010 Generations. Essentially the successor of Henkei Henkei. So, I can see that. Well, with this Perceptor, it seems like they were giving the figures this really nice like metallic paints. So, I guess that's what they were doing with this United line. But anyway, of course, getting this second hand, I don't have the box on me, but of course, I can just edit a picture in. So, of course, let's just throw in the Reveal the Shield box first. And yeah, pretty typical of what the boxes looked like at the time. With the Reveal the Shield boxes, they had this yellow to them, I guess. And well, of course, the whole gimmick was, oh, Reveal the Shield! Like we already talked about the thing with Grapple. Like the whole rub sign thing, but yeah. And of course, the back. Of course, it mentions the gimmick again with the rub sign. Of course, it has been the United version. We don't have that, but it also has the bio, which they need to bring back. Come on, Hasbro, please. So yeah. But of course, seeing how I've got the United version here, well, here's the United box, which is definitely different. So you can see that the United box has essentially Megatron and Prime having a staring contest at the top. Again, Perceptor's just there in vehicle mode. All about Perceptor. So yeah, honestly, I kind of prefer to Reveal the Shield box, but the back is definitely interesting because we got a picture of Perceptor just posing. Of course, we got pictures of him in both modes. We got a gimmick, which is the opening like microscope tray, even though this is a half-track vehicle. And we got the light piping, and we got cross cells for Blur, Cup, and Retgar. So yeah. So for the actual figure, well, as you can see, Perceptor here is not a microscope. Because this was when they were starting to like, reinvent characters. Like, they weren't giving the, I guess, object characters. They were giving them like new vehicle modes. Like Megatron's a tank, for example. Salo is an SUV. And of course, Perceptor here is a half-track mining vehicle. Which, does this even exist in real life? Because this could just be like a random truck that they took from real life and just added treads onto. I don't know. But it still looks really cool. Because, of course, I can see Perceptor being a half-track, so he can, like, more easily traverse, like, off-road, you know, to try and look at minerals, to do research on them, I guess. But, of course, I guess the main thing to talk about is the metallic red, which I think looks really nice. Like, if you just get the standard Hasbro version, the red's just going to be standard. But what is the Takara version? This looks really nice. But of course, going all about simple right there. Windshield, no seats in there, unfortunately. Oh well. Got the We've got the mirrors, which are just rubber plastic. The front wheels, which are just pinned in. But of course, with this being a half-track, I guess he wouldn't really go too fast. He would just, like, crawl along, like so. And even then, you have to, like, really press the... Like, you really have to press on the front hard to get the wheels to spin, so... But they do spin. But yeah, we've got the front here. The back with the treads. I mean, the treads are molded really nicely here. And you can see we've got the wheels right there for them to roll. The back got, I guess, a license plate, MR51409. I'm not sure that means anything, but that could be like an internal reference at Hasbro that we just don't know about, but I don't know. Like, if that said MC, then I could see it being a micro change reference, but no, it's MR. Got some nice, I guess, back windows here. Got the tail lights. Got this thing on top, which kind of looks like a set of headlights, to be honest. Like, this can't spin, because this does form his, like, what's normally like the viewfinder on his microscope mode. This transforms into that, if that makes any sense. But here it's like a set of lights, I guess. So yeah. And the underneath, well, I mean, we got the hands just right there. So yeah. We can see that the hands do grip onto these little posts for transformation, so it's kind of secure. And yeah, the legs do transform quite a bit. So yeah. And for comparison, here's the most recent Perceptor. Well, I say most recent, this is like the first version of the Studio Series version, but here's Studio Series Perceptor. Because you can see, he's meant to be a microscope, but here, he's a half-crank vehicle, and I really like this vehicle mode, because, I mean, this is like a human-scaled microscope. So this would be like oversized compared to normal Cybertronians. I feel this is more meant to be based on, if I can get this guy into his third mode. Hang on. There we go. I feel this is meant to be more based on the mobile laboratory mode, which is obviously just his tank mode. But yeah, I'm fairly certain this is meant to be a reference to this mode, because it's got the treads, so... But yeah, I think it's a closer fit. That, or it's a reference to animated Perceptor's vehicle mode, because I think he also transformed into like a truck. So yeah, I'm gonna say that this guy's vehicle mode is meant to reference this and animated Perceptor. Because this did come out around the time of like the end of animated, so... But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say about the vehicle mode. There's not really any accessories to speak of. There's no extra guns. Yeah, what you see is what you get. But honestly, for such a cool looking vehicle mode, I am perfectly fine with that. Plus, again, look at the freaking shiny, like, red here. Now, we can also do a fan mode if you really want to. And that just involves transforming the weapon on top. There you go. Pretty much it's just transforming the, I guess, lights into the remote configuration. But this could be a fan mode, if you want. I mean, it's still centered. Now, what would this be? Maybe a drilling thing? I don't know. But yeah, that is an option. But I think it's about time we get this guy transformed. So, transformation on this guy is actually kind of complicated, especially in the legs here. So, start, I'm just going to try and tilt this up. There we go. So, to start, what I'm going to do is transform his shoulder weapon first. So, I'm just going to flip that around. Pull this forward. Then flip these around, and that forms a shoulder cannon. I'm going to also fold up the reticle. There we go. And then we can just spin this around to get it out the way. Because then, to actually start this, we're just going to take this back flap here. I'm just going to flip this up. And these are going to tab into here, but we'll do that later. Next, we're going to try and untab the doors and the side bits here. And this is kind of difficult to do. So just, there we go, try and untap everything. And just move these down, and you can essentially see how this is going to go. And you can maybe try and force microscope mode here, because this can actually flip down. Wait, hang on. Yeah, I'm sure you can force a microscope mode here. But now that we've got this thing going on, let's just try and do the legs. So you can see the feet here. These are just going to flip out while these actually come down and tab in. There we go. So these actually tab in. And of course the feet come down. The legs extend out. With the treads, we just untab them. Because there's these tabs here that go into here. So there you go. And on this sliding rail, we just slide these down, and then these just tab in. And then finally, this door. I can get this door undone. Come on. So this door will come down and just nestle into there. So we'll do the same here. So untab, tread, push it down, that just tucks there. Then the door will just come down and nestle into there. And then that's essentially the legs done. And then the arms will just unpack from here. And essentially what we have to do is fillet them outwards. So we just... And you can see they tab into each other at the top here, but we just spin these around. Can be kind of fiddly. Come on. Yeah, it's the same like wheel spinning transformation that like Universe Sideswipe has, so there we go. So now we got that. Then this will come down. Got this white bit here that if you push that up, will pop up the head. So just try and get that into place. Move the torso down like so. And now just try and move the backpack up. Oh yeah, and the windshield, we'll just try and get that down like so. But there's essentially a tab that's going to go into there. And we're going to try and get that like clipped in. And then the arms or the shoulders are going to not necessarily tab in, but they'll just stay in place. Then the forearms will spin around. And if you've done everything correctly, which I've probably not, see, yeah, you see things are just coming apart. Hang on. So once you got everything fully into place, here we have Perceptor in robot mode. And yeah, that transformation can be kind of fiddly, but I would classify it as the fun, challenging kind of fiddly, not the, oh my god, what the fuck do I do kind of fiddly. Like, it's a fun challenge. Like, yeah, it kind of stumps you the first time you try to do it, but once you figure it out, then it's just a really fun thing to do. Like, just the way that things all move around, especially with how the legs transform. Like, you see how the legs, like, the treads are just in there. Like, I quite like this transformation. So, yeah. And plus, compare it with the Studio Series transformation where, like, the Studio Series transformation is just so simple. But this guy, like, come on. His chest is formed from the inside of the vehicle. And what we end up with is a really nice stylized version of Perceptor. Like, we can see that the shoulder cannon looks like it's got a missile coming out of it, which I think is a toy reference. And yeah, it's on the right shoulder here, because on the Studio Series, it's on the left. Looking at the face, well, we can actually see he's got light piping, which is really nice. And this actually doesn't really have any, like, functionality. It's just as a fun Easter egg. This can come down. Like, of course, in other Perceptors, that's a part of the transformation for the microscope mode, but here, it's just a fun reference, and I love that. They could have just let that molded in. They didn't. It's just a fun Easter egg. Well, I say that, on the Reveal the Shield version, like, you move that down and that's where the rub sign is. So you move it down for the rub sign. But here on the United version, of course, they don't have the rub sign. But still, I think this is a really nice nod. Something else is really cool. Of course, these dials are from the microscope mode. You know, you'd, like, turn them and it would, like, make the... Like, the eyepiece would pretty much, like, zoom in or out. Of course, with this guy being a half-track, this is just there for reference, but you can still move these. Not even the Studio Series version does that. Like, come on, that's amazing. So, yeah. Now, normally this is where I'd give him his gun, but he doesn't have any accessories, but can he still hold accessories? So let's say Studio Series Perceptor's gun. Well, let's say at first be careful, because, you know, his hands are open, so he could break the thumb, so be careful, but... And, yeah, he can hold a weapon. So, looks like it is still 5mm compatible. So there's that. That's really cool. And, well, how does it look next to the Studio Series version? And we can see the reds are kind of duller, but I think that's just because, you know, in vehicle mode, it is a metallic color. But yeah, the reds are a lot more vibrant on the Studio Series version. And they're roughly around the same height. I just say that because, you know, deluxes are a lot smaller these days. They're more expensive, but we're not going to get into that. But yeah, these guys do look pretty good together. I like how the treads are in the same place as well. Now, what about the articulation? Well, heads can kind of go side to side, although not fully around. Which, to be fair, your head content 360 can it, so this is natural. Although, maybe just a teensy bit more to the sides. Kind of look up and down. The arms are on ball joints, so these can move, and they're also on that joint if you want a bit more. But he can't T-pose. Really good elbow joints. Bicep rotation, just due to the transformation. Wrist can swivel. Waist, there's nothing, but I guess if you want, this could be an ab crunch, just due to the transformation. Legs are on ball joints, so he can kick forward. He can kick back. Do the splits, although, yeah, it's kind of... I'm chalking this down to age, just because, you know, this is like, what, decade old? Oh, I think this is like 15 years old, actually. Anyway, thigh swivel, knees, and feet. So, yeah. It's missing a couple of things that modern figures have normally, such as waist swivel, ankle tilt. But I don't really mind, because, you know, those weren't really standards back then. And even then, this guy still looks really nice. But I still have my own qualms with the figure. Namely, like, this is meant to tab in, but... In fact, I was going to say one of my issues was, like, the ab crunch being a bit too, easy... Like, one of my issues was the ab crunch being a bit too easy to maneuver, but turns out it's just me being stupid. It's meant to tab in, so that's not an issue anymore. But for actual problems, honestly, these doors are kind of annoying. I wish they pushed in more. So, yeah. Also, maybe if this windshield hit a bit more, you know. Because you see, it's just like... I kind of wish that, like, it could, like, hide up like this, maybe. Just try and cover up all this. I don't know. That was more of a nitpick. But I think my biggest issue is just... Transformation can be kind of fiddly. I have praised it for being a fun fiddly. Like, a fun challenge, but... Trying to get some things tabbed in can be kind of annoying, namely the shoulders. So, yeah. But still, I think this is a really fun figure. And honestly, I think this is a time where the old version is definitely better than the new version. I mean, they literally just re-released this version. And it can't even do the tank mode anymore. But he got through some new cassettes, so, there you go. So, yeah. So, yeah, I think this is definitely my favorite Perceptor figure right now. And there's even a Magnificus version that I really want to get, but that's probably going to be kind of rare. So, I don't know. But do I recommend this figure? Absolutely. He's got a really cool looking vehicle mode. A transformation that, while fiddly, is not straight up frustrating to do. And the robot mode looks really cool. So, yeah, I definitely do recommend this figure. Especially if you're trying to, like, back collect the older Chuck figures from, like, I don't know, say, pre-Prime Wars trilogy. I definitely do recommend this figure. And even the Magnificus, if you can find it. That's probably a grail figure for me right now. So, yeah. This has been my review on Reveal the Shield or United Perceptor. And this is a Transformers fan signing off.